Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. Excuse the darkness. Boy, it's, December 28th, and the days are short. So, getting right into this, I've talked about this book, Houston Smith's The World's Religions, perhaps the most important book in my life. I've read it twice. I'm always rereading this and memorizing passages. Houston Smith is a hero of mine. By the way, he lived to 96. He died a couple of years ago. So the world's religions. In this book, he covers all the monotheistic Abrahamic traditions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, of course, the Eastern stuff, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, even Confucianism, and then even the sort of primal traditions, Native American. So it's fascinating stuff, and he talks about many of the sacred texts, of course, the Bible, and the Bhagavad Gita, right? And it's just incredible. So I've done a couple of videos on the Bible. Not to get into my background, I was raised a Catholic. Well, let me shelf that. So my goal is to go through every single book in the Bible and do a video on it, read it and discuss it. So there's 73 books when you combine the Old and the New Testament. So far, I've done 2, right? I've done a video. If you're interested, go back on my channel. I've done one on the book of Job, which is quite lengthy. It's about an hour long. And I also did Ecclesiastes, right? And I've actually played The Very Bad Wizards. They covered that. So my goal is to go through every single book and talk about it. Like I was thinking about doing Genesis next. There were maybe the book of Revelation. Fascinating books, obviously. So, by the way, is it Stephen Greenblatt wrote a great book, Adam and Eve, on the book of Genesis. Okay, I digress. So, to me, the Bible is I don't know, it kind of sounds like a duh, but the Bible is the most compelling, most interesting book there is. Like I just jotted this down, some adjectives, like to describe the Bible. Now, the problem is people don't read it right. Like you're reading it too literally, you're not thinking deep enough, you're getting distracted by the violence, and sometimes the writing is poor. But I wrote down 10 adjectives to describe the Bible, right? So I find the Bible compelling, mysterious, dangerous, convicting, helpful, bizarre, for sure, personal, inspiring, divine, and just absolutely exhilarating, enjoyable. So I'm going to give you an example right now. And I jotted this down, and I'm actually reading this too. There's another great book, What is the Bible? I actually got the idea from here. So let's just take Deuteronomy. People don't like Deuteronomy, Leviticus, because it's crazy. It's insane. If you have not read it, read it. It's crazy. So in the book of Deuteronomy, I actually jotted this down. It's chapter 34. There is a bit of scripture that says about Moses, was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. Let me repeat that. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. And like, wait a minute. Okay, so you're probably thinking, oh, he's 120, really? They lived that long? That's not an impossible thing. There are people today, not many, maybe a handful, have lived to 120. But what's bizarre is the way it's written. He's 120 when he died, but yet his eyes were not weak and his strength was not gone. It's like, wait a minute. When you die, you lose your strength and your eyes you see. So people don't read this very closely, right? So, Moses had just died, and what the fuck, So you have to really read it. And then you go back, if you read the Hebrew scriptures, it's Leo literally means freshness, right? So he died, but his moisture hadn't left him. He passed on, but still had his freshness. So if you want to read it from literally from the Hebrew text, it says, nor had his natural force abated, and then it goes, he still had his vigor, right? So had not become wrinkled. Natural force had not abated. So what does this mean? That Moses could still get it up. That's really the thing without moisture. So I'm actually reading something from this book here, right? It says, that's right. Moses, the great leader of the Hebrews, the liberator who led his people out of slavery, the hero who defeated and defied Pharaoh, the one who climbed Mount Sinai to meet with God, the towering figure of the Hebrew scriptures, when he died, could still get it up, get it hard on. So I'm going to continue with this. I think that's interesting. I'll take out interesting parts of scripture and dig into it more. What does it mean? Why was it important that Moses was fertile? Sex. He was able to fuck, if you want to look at it that way. So this is fun stuff. Okay, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.